Good afternoon from the Philippines. Welcome to another edition of Sports Bytes Live with another round of volleyball talks. For today, we have a very special guest. But before we introduce our guest, I'd like to call on my co-host. First off, no other than the legendary veteran journalist, Henry Liao.
Good day to everyone. I hope you enjoy our discussions today with Tony Boy Liao, no? An official from the volleyball community. No?
Yon. And joining us, thank you for the short notice, Mr. Rick Olivares.
Magandang hapon sa lahat na nanonood ng Sports Bytes. Thanks Brian and Boss Henry, who I had the pleasure of writing for before, to participate in this. And excited ako because we have a extraordinary man who's done a lot for the sport of volleyball and he's a good friend as well. Good evening, Mr. Ikaw na magpakilala, Brian. Bakit nga ba ako?
Yan na. Sobrang excited natin. Nasabi natin.
Oo nga.
Anyway, we natin patatagalin. Welcome to the show po, Sir Tony Boy Liao, and thank you for gracing us. Yan.
Yeah, good afternoon dyan sa inyo at thank you very much for inviting me over dito sa inyong daily show na Sports Bytes.
Yun. Sir, bago po natin go to the proper, kukumustahin po namin kayo, how are things over there? I believe you're not in the Philippines right now?
I'm here at San Mateo, California since January. At luckily, I was able to have already my vaccine shots. So, 2 shots, Pfizer. So, maganda, no? At least ako dito, nakuha ko na.
Yun.
At hopefully dyan sa inyo, dahil I follow the news every day, makuha na rin nyo kasi nababalitaan ko na madami nang pumapasok na vaccines. Ang problema lang itong past few days, dumadami naman ang cases. So sana mawala ang mga cases.
Yes, sir. So yun, huwag natin patagalin. Sir Henry Liao, take it away.
Okay, Tony Boy.
Yeah.
I know you're a family relative, right? But I'll go
Yes.
straight to the point. What is the state of Philippine volleyball today after so many years of problems with the sport and leadership?
Actually, I can tell you today na we are very lucky that to the Philippine Olympic Committee, Congressman Bambol Tolentino was able to unite all, maybe I can say, factions na para maging unified ng volleyball dito sa Pilipinas. So, from the PBF to the LVPI to the alliance that was formed recently, no? So ngayon, isa na lang siya na nung nag-election, ang naging pangalan niya na is Philippine National Volleyball Federation Incorporated. So it is now made up of different groups na finorm ng POC.
So we don't expect any more fireworks.
I don't think so. Kasi nga maganda na nga ang naging samahan from all sectors, no? From the UAAP, NCAA, from the coaches, from the referees, from the leagues. Maganda na ang naging saka ang mga plannings talaga very concrete na. Talagang ang naging we serve volleyball. Ang kanyang hashtag na, we serve volleyball na. Kaya hopefully yung mga nangyayari nung 90s sa Philippine volleyball maulit na ulit para at least from the grassroots to the youth to the elite maulit-ulit yan para at least yung popularity ng volleyball dito na alam naman natin na lumalaki na ulit na I think I've heard parang after basketball it's boxing and it's volleyball na. So maganda na nagiging popular na ang volleyball.
How about you, Rick? Ikaw naman.
Sir Tony, if I may, since you're heading the national team, and what are the immediate tournaments that we can look out for in the near future, and how does what is the planning so far? Ano developments sa formation ng national team? Kung sino man yung mga magko-coach? Anong pwedeng yung i-divulge na balita, Sir Tony?
Okay, thank you for those questions, Rick. Actually, after the board was elected, so nominations for different commissions were done, and I was nominated to head the National Team Commission.
Mhm.
Meaning to say, my commission, we would be in charge of forming the national teams in all levels, volleyball and beach volleyball, men and women. And
Nice.
aside from that, we are also forming yung mga youth and junior teams. So all of those teams will be under my commission.
Mhm.
Okay. Dahil malapit na, supposedly this year is the SEA Games year, kaya ang unang tinayo namin yung senior team, yung elite team na tinatawag, no, for volleyball and beach volleyball. So our commission made a criteria on how to select the coaches, and then we presented it to the board for approval, which was approved. So when the criteria was approved, so we, among our commission, we nominated names, and then we selected yung names of the coaches for volleyball and beach volleyball, and then it was approved by the board. Actually, those names were announced, I think, 2 weeks ago in media.
Mhm.
They had a press con announcing the coaches, which I think I can again announce, no? For the men's volleyball team, we have Coach Dante Alinsunurin. Siya yung nag-coach ng last SEA Games na we were able to get the silver. The last SEA Games 2019 in Manila, Philippines. And then for the women naman, we nominated and appointed Coach Oji Mamon, who used to coach the national women's team noong SEA Games noong sa Vietnam and Malaysia. I think that was 2000, if I'm not mistaken, 2001 and 2003. And then for beach volleyball naman, we nominated again the same coaches that had guided our beach volleyball teams in the last SEA Games, of which both men and women won bronze medals. So for the men, we again nominated Coach Rovil Verayo, who also used to play beach volleyball before for the national team. And for the women, she coached Dolo, which is also coaching the UST beach volleyball teams. So these are the coaches that were nominated and approved by the board of directors of the PNVF.
Thank you, Sir Tony.
Yeah.
Pero yung team, wala pang selection, sir. Hindi pa.
Okay. With regard to the team, we have also discussed that we will do the tryout by invitation. As you all know, alam na natin kung sino yung mga mahuhusay na players, no? Okay. One suggestion actually was to have tryouts, open tryouts. But because of the pandemic, and then because of the time frame, as you all know, the SEA Games will be held November, end of November. Medyo baka kapusin na tayo sa panahon kung magpapatryouts pa tayo ng open. So we have decided, and then it was approved by the board, na we'll have it by invitation tryouts. So we will be inviting the top 40 men and women, and then we will cut it down to 25 for the main pool of the men and the women. For beach naman, we will invite 20, and we will cut it down to 10 men, 10 women for beach. So for the tryouts, maybe you will be asking me when we will have the tryouts. We were supposed to have the tryouts this coming April 15, but because of this pandemic, as you all know, madaming lumalabas na cases. Iniintay ko namin yung go signal ng PSC, ng POC, IATF, kung kailan kami pwede magpa-tryouts. Dahil nga, as you know, di ba, iba-iba kasi yung mga anong pwede at anong hindi pwede, di ba? May mga nana-lockdown, mayroon mga curfew. So, we are awaiting for all of these go signals. By the way, the tryouts, maybe we are planning to have it for 5 days. Para at least maiksi lang, mapili ka namin yung players for the pool.
Brian, sorry, may follow-up question ako on that note, no, Sir Henry. Sir Tony, are there any concerns from the players regarding participation due to COVID? Meron bang yung parang, sige, gusto ko sumama pero takot ako dahil, baka ma-infect tayo, ganon. Meron bang mga concerns ang gagaling sa players?
Okay. Number one is, as you all know, most of our players now, they have contracts with club teams.
Yes.
They have live contracts with club teams. So once we invite these players, we will write formally their club, asking for their permission to allow their players to participate in the tryouts. Once the pinayagan sila ng club teams, that's the time na we will accept them, no? Okay. With regard to COVID, I'm sure a lot of these players medyo takot dahil na ito sa mga nangyayari ngayon. But to give you an information, yung mga PVL club teams were already given by GAB the go signal to go on training. So right now, they're having their training, pero not as a team, 5-5 muna. 5 players per hour with their coaches and trainers. So it looks funny kasi it's hard to train really na 5 lang, no? Kulang as a team. Pero wala tayong magagawa, no? Kasi yan ang rules na binigay ng GAB. So we have to follow the rules. Maybe pag medyo luminaw-linaw na itong pandemic natin, medyo mabawas-bawasan, siguro pwede na sila mag-train as a team. Pero we still have to wait for that. At least, not like before, when they do their training, puro online lang, online. They will go via Zoom, makikinig sila doon sa trainer, sasabihin ko nung gagawin, parang physical exercises, weights. At least ngayon, they get to see each other at they train on the court with balls. So at least that's better than training via Zoom.
Oo nga. Thank you, Sir Tony.
Okay. Tony Boy.
Yeah.
Be an impertinent question. But I'd like to know, you've been there, done that, no? 1993, we won the women's volleyball title,
Gold.
No? Medal in the Southeast Asian Games in
Singapore.
It's like that's only gold medal in the sport. No? I'd like to ask.
No, that's not the only gold. That was the last gold.
Yeah, we only gold with women's volleyball, right?
No. In the past, in the late 70s, 79, 81, 83, we were the queens of the Southeast Asian Games for women's volleyball.
Okay. So
medyo nawala na.
So that's more than nearly 2 decades ago, right? More than 2 decades ago. Like
3 decades na.
Yes. I'd like to know from you, what are the factors do you think that we can regain the women's volleyball crown the Southeast Asian Games? So knowing that we are in pandemic times, there must be a factors. Is the unity factor now an asset for us? So what are the things we have to do maybe to regain that gold medal in the women's volleyball Southeast Asian Games that we won in 1993. No?
Actually, ano mo, Henry, right now, because as you were asking me what would be the factors that we could use to regain, we are not looking actually right now na makuha natin gold right away dito sa Vietnam. Dahil nga because of this pandemic, yung preparation, very little time, we are actually looking doon sa next SEA Games in Cambodia, which is 2003. Maybe by that time, medyo nag-slow down na itong pandemic, medyo siguro because of the vaccines, medyo okay na tayo. Ito namang SEA Games na to, hindi ko naman sinasabi na dahil na we're only looking at the 2003, hindi na tayo lalaban. So siyempre, nandiyan pa rin tayo lalaban. Pero hindi namin mapapangako na nandun tayo palagi dahil because of the short training period, no? Okay, siguro tayo short training period. Maybe the other 10 countries ng Southeast Asia, ganun din ang problema. Short training period. Dahil they also have that COVID-19 pandemic, no? Pero we are also looking at the other countries like, for example, Thailand. Right now, yung kanilang Thailand League is ongoing. Nag-umpisa noong January, papasok na sila ng Final Four. Because yung kanilang pandemic, nung COVID-19, konti lang. Kaya they were able to do it. Same thing with Indonesia and Vietnam. Yung itong mga teams na sinasabi ko, itong countries, ito yung mga sa babae, ito yung mga kalaban natin na malalakas eh. Na ngayon, na meron silang Thailand League, after the Thailand League, after their leagues, magte-training na itong mga national team sila in preparation for the SEA Games. But tayo, actually, magpapatryouts pa lang tayo, tapos saka pa lang tayo magte-training. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na huli na tayo. We still have, assuming we start at May, so we will have something like 6 months to train, no? To train. So hopefully itong 6 months training natin makakatulong para lang at least mas maganda ang maging ating ranking. Kasi as you all know, the last SEA Games, we didn't have a medal sa women. We were 4th. Hopefully, magkaroon tayo ng medal, kahit bronze, o maglaro man tayo ng finals. Hindi man tayo manalo ng gold. Maganda na yun eh. Dahil nga, we were able to rank higher than the one in 2019. So, yun ang inaano namin na doon sa board na lagi namin pinag-uusapan na sana mangyari para at least maging successful itong pagtayo ng bagong volleyball federation.
Sir, may tatanong lang ako from the comment section. It's actually from our Sports Bytes volleyball writer, no, from Andy Fiel. So, question niya is, what is the procedure for forming the youth teams?
Okay. Right now, as I was saying earlier, we will be forming the pool for the senior team. Yung senior team, nagdadagdag na kami ng mga 5 o 6 na youth. Siguro mga 19 under. 19 under, 17 under. Okay. We are, right now, we already have names in mind na nakikita namin na naglalaro na ng sa UAP. Maybe si Rick would know, like for example, sila sa Ateneo, sila Nisperos, sila Solomon. These are tall young players na talagang mayroong ability na maglaro para sa national team in the future. So these girls, I think we can use them for the youth team para mabigyan sila ng experience before they go to the senior teams.
Is there a time frame po for this?
Okay. The tournament for the junior teams is next year. As you all know, in the Asian, in the ABC, every odd year, which is this year, 2001, yan yung mga Asian Senior Championships. That's why in August, it's the Asian Senior Women Championship. And in September, it's the Asian Senior Men Championship. This is before the SEA Games. But I doubt it kung makakasali tayo dyan dahil nga, number one, yung Asian Senior Women Championship is in China. The one naman in the men's is in Japan. So I don't know kung we will be allowed by the POC, by the IATF, mabigyan tayo ng go signal to participate. No? Pero for sure, we are also preparing for that one kasi that would be a stepping stone before the SEA Games. So that's one. For the even years naman, which is next year, dyan naman pumapasok yung mga youth and junior events ng ABC. So, yung mga junior events naman, dahil na meron na tayong mga sinamang mga young players for the senior teams, magdadagdag na lang tayo ng mga ibang magta-tryouts para mabuo yung junior and youth teams. At the same time, we will also nominate coaches that will handle these teams.
All right, thank you, Sir Rick. You have any questions? Mike, Rick, Mike, hear you on mute.
Sorry, thank you, Brian. Sir Tony, we'll move now to the PVL if you don't mind. No?
Yeah.
I managed to speak to Mr. Palu last week, no, and ask what are the plans for the bubble, and hindi pa niya ako nababalikan. No? You know, with 12 teams now, all of a sudden you're going from 8 to 12, and definitely that increases the number of people inside the bubble to what, roughly 300 coaches and players.
Yeah.
And as I understand, that is a concern for everyone.
Yes.
And nag-uusap kami ni Sir Ricky, sabi niya, do we split it into two, which doesn't really sound nice. We talked about the possibility of two different bubbles, but that's one, it's super expensive, and number two, parang how and where. Sir, anong developments ngayon? I know that teams asked to push back the opening so they have more time to prepare.
Yeah, okay.
Ano updates, sir?
Okay, with regards to the PVL Open Conference, okay, that is true. We are going to have a bubble. It was supposed to start last April 10, but because of the wala pa yung go signal ng GAB to train, and then the teams were suggesting for a further opening. So it will be at the end of last week of May.
Okay.
So far, it will be the last week of May, especially now na teams are already starting to train. No, they were already given go signals to train. Okay, with regards to the bubble in Laguna, which is yung Inspire, yung NU Laguna Inspire. Okay, we have a total number of almost 350 people.
Wow. Even bigger.
Made up. Yep. Because, okay, this is made up of 12 teams. Each team we requested to have 20 packs maximum per team. So that's already 240 if we have 12 teams. And then we are having our technical officials, the referees, the line judges, and then we have our VIS, yung stats team, and then we have the TV crew, which I know there are, I think, mga 30 packs for the TV crew. So it will run around 350 people.
Wow.
So ngayon, with regards to the protocols, once we enter, we're inside, we will ask the teams and all the people that will be entering the bubble to have first their swab test 3 days before they enter. 3 days before. Para once they enter, mapapakita nila na they're negative. Okay? Once they're negative, okay, ang suggestion kasi ng Inspire NU, yung kanilang health protocol, instead of having another swab test right away, itawag dito, i-confine namin lahat sila sa dormitories, all the people, and then after 5 days, we'll have another swab test para makita talaga kung negative lahat. At least, yun, sigurado tayo na walang mapapositive. Once we are there, they will start their training and then we'll start our tournament. Every 2 weeks, we will have our swab testing again. That is the protocol that we will be having.
Sir Tony, what, if any, no? I know that Mr. Palu has been in touch with Willie Marshall of the Philippine Basketball Association.
Yes.
Ano yung learnings ng PVL galing dun sa PBA bubble na ginawa sa Pampanga last year, no? Ano
Okay.
Kung pwede nyo i-share, sir. I don't know if it's off the record.
Yeah. Actually, the learnings that we got, no, yung sa PBA bubble is number 1, yung swab testing. Now, they were doing it every 2 weeks. Now, everybody has to go swab testing. It is really very expensive, pero wala. Talagang kailangan natin gawin. We have to be very sure na talagang walang magkakasakit, walang mapapositive. So that's number 1. That's what we learned doon sa kanila sa PBA bubble. So, I don't know ngayon kung yung second conference is it the second conference or the first conference ng PBA that will happen in April?
It's the first.
That's the first, no?
It is
I
the
don't
first,
know.
right, Brian?
Yeah, it is.
It is the first, yeah.
It is the first. I heard they will do it daw parang hybrid.
I think so. Yeah, but
Hybrid, no?
hindi pa yata definite eh. Kasi
Yeah.
sir, parang yung
Actually,
isang concern yata sa bubble, yung parang, I know sa PB, medyo nagkasawa ng mga mukha yung mga ibang tao dun eh. Kasi you see each other every day. I mean, are you introducing any innovations? Lalo if they're cooped up in their dorm rooms for 5 days, my God, you know, that's...
No, actually, yung dorm room na 5 days na sinasabi ko, yan yung umpisa. Ha?
Oo nga.
Umpisa lang yon. Once na nag-umpisa na, actually, you know, I don't know if you've been to New Laguna.
Not yet, sir.
I don't know. Okay.
So,
It is a really very nice place. Kompleto sila sa gamit. Talagang they have a weights room na talagang high-tech. Talagang they have a lot of mga therapy rooms. Saka they have a field that you can exercise. Yung kanilang gymnasium is 4 floors. Na talagang meron siya multi-purpose. Madami kang magagawa doon. Sa tingin ko, hindi ka talaga maiinip. Meron din sila mga meeting rooms. Na sa tingin ko, per team, pwede siguro magpalabas ng tape ng games sila o pwede magpalabas ng sine o Netflix o whatever. Para lang at least mawala yung inip doon sa loob. Yeah.
Sir, magsasama ba kayo ng media?
Yeah, of course. Pero alam mo, Rick, okay. Ang amin kasing number 1 rule at number 1 rule din ng New Laguna. Once you go in, you cannot go out. You can only go out once it's done.
Parang Hotel California yan.
Yeah. Wala tayong magagawa kasi ayaw namin talagang kasi okay, this is our first, as you know, this is our first professional open conference. Gusto namin na maging very successful. Imagine now we have already 12 teams. Successful na kami. So gusto namin talaga na maging very successful na walang magkakasakit.
Exciting talaga, no, sir, no? Sayang lang, wala yung Air Force, no?
Yeah, kasi kung Air Force, magiging 13 kami. Dadami. Kaya min-maximize namin ng 12.
Okay.
Brian, thank you.
All right. Sir Henry.
Tony Boy,
Yeah.
we have been throwing serious questions at you. And you look very serious. that made us also look very serious. So I'd like to ask some light questions, no? Some of them
Yeah.
late. First of all, why did you take nothing against him, because he's also a medal multi-sport national team member, well, former city mayor. Why did you take Richard Gomez as your secretary? Remember, in basketball, we have also such thing as flapping. Do you need acting in women's volleyball?
Okay. As
Okay.
you all know, si Mayor Richard, okay, has been very close with us, especially doon sa Spikers Turf. Spikers Turf is our men's league. Okay, as you know, for your information. Aside from the Premier Volleyball League, we have the Spikers Turf. Si Mayor Richard, he has a men's team na nagpa-participate sa Spikers Turf. And for your information, he also plays volleyball. Kaya talagang he's also interested to be part na makatulong sa sport.
But there's no
Which,
acting there, There's no acting.
walang acting.
Actually, magaling
Walang
siya.
actingan dyan.
Magaling siya.
Walang actingan, talagang magaling. And at the same time, in all our meetings, talagang present siya. He attends a meeting from his office or more. Sometimes nasa kotse siya, pupunta siya ng meeting, he still attends the meeting.
That was
Kaya
meant
talagang
as a joke, That was
talagang
meant as a joke,
ano no?
That was meant as a joke.
Pero in reality talagang ano siya, talagang how do you say this? Talagang all out siya. All out to help volleyball.
I'll reserve my other light questions later.
Yeah.
Sorry, talaga. So there's another question here on the comment section from Andy Fiel again. Tats Zara mentioned that he wanted to have a Brazilian coach for the national team in the future. Is this plan still in place, or will you be looking at other options?
Okay. Okay. That plan is still in place. Okay, because this is the program of the FIBB. Yung FIBB National Federation project. So ang FIBB kasi has been doing this in the past. As you will see, the big Asian teams, big Asian countries, teams like Japan, Korea, they have Asian coaches. They have European coaches, like Italians, Brazilians. So ito ngayon, FIBB has been tawag dito, calling up itong Philippine Federation kung pwede nga kumuha din tayo ng isang European or South American coach, which is ang kanilang rinirekomenda ngayon itong Brazilian, no? But unfortunately, because of this pandemic, hindi pa makapasok. At the same time, yung Brazilian Federation and FIBB is still looking for a very good Brazilian coach na talagang parang tama-tama sa Philippines. So, nasa ano pa rin yan, nasa framework.
All right. Rick, any more questions from you?
Sir, yung Spikers Turf, any plans for Spikers Turf? Will they have their own bubble as well?
Okay. Maybe meron kang sundan na, kasi I was here in the States, nabasa ko lang na I think si Ricky tried asking the teams, and I think only 3, kasi we really also wanted them to turn professional, like the PVL. Okay, but unfortunately, so far, only 3 teams said yes to turning pro. So, posible kami magbubble, pero hindi siya professional. So maybe right after the women's, we will go with the Spikers Turf, but we still have to look for another place for the bubble. Kasi as you all know, after the PVL, yung Laguna Inspire will be very busy na for the other national teams because they will be preparing for the SEA Games. So we have to look for another place. Yung Spikers Turf, we used to play sa Paco. Yung Paco Gym. But the problem, yung Paco Gym yata is not IATF approved for bubble.
Oo nga.
So we have to look for another venue.
Sir, dun sa F2, will it be Coach Ramil handling the team?
Okay, with regards to the F2 team, I don't have any idea on who's coaching, on who are the players. Kasi as far as the PSL teams that transferred, so far, we only got the lineups of Signal and PLDT.
Okay.
Yung Santa Lucia, Photon, Cherigo, and F2 wala pa.
Wow.
So once they submit the lineups, we will know the players and the coaching staff, because we also need the list of teams, because we have to submit it to for their licenses.
That's
for
right.
their professional license.
That's right.
Kaya once they submit it, we will know. I will let you know.
Thank you, sir. That's it for me, Brian. I'll have to duck out in a while. Sir Tony, may klase ako, so I teach him.
Okay.
I'll have to leave in a while. No? So,
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you for those questions.
Ayan, Rick, marami pa akong bala.
Ay, maghihintay. Sir Henry, maghihintay pa ako isa sa mga bala niya.
Yan.
Ako. Go.
Maybe you can take this one first. Light question to, no? Tony Boy, I know where you graduated from. Obvious naman, di ba? But you managed the teams of women's volleyball, LaSalle and Ateneo. Late, Ateneo pa nga, no? Sabi ko this, you cannot answer with sana ang dalawang puso ko, You cannot answer that. You have to select one. Which is,
okay.
Where does your heart stand? One
okay,
Bytes
first,
or Animo?
Before I answer that, okay, I graduated high school LaSalle Green Hills. Okay, that makes me green. Okay, and then I went to college UST.
UST.
Okay.
When I was in UST, I managed the men's team and partially the women's team when I was studying. Okay, when I graduated college, I worked in the bank, and then I don't know if you remember si brother Rolly Dizon.
That's right, Asal.
He passed away already long time ago. He was the president. He was my principal sa LaSalle High School. And then when he was president of LaSalle Bacolod, I saw him there. He asked me kung pwede ko siyang tulungan when he will go transfer to DLSU to become the president. Di sabi ko, brother, in what way? Can you manage the LaSalle women's volleyball team? Sabi ko, brother, for you, why not? So when he became president, he called me up right away. I went to his office. Binigyan na kagad sa akin yung working papers to become the manager of the DLSU women's team. I managed the team for 4 years. Nag-champion naman kami. Ang players ko noon, sila Ila Santos, sila M. Penetrante. I don't know, Rick, if you remember them.
I know them, yeah.
Sila Desiree Hernandez. Romil De Jesus was the head coach. Si Oliver Almado was his assistant. Okay? After that, medyo nung nagkasakit si Brother Rolly, he had to take a leave of absence because of his cancer. Nagkaroon ng konting kulay, politika, natanggal ako sa LaSalle. So fine with me, no problem. So I was absent from the volleyball scene for 2 years. And then my good friend, si Ricky Palu, called me up, and then he was asking me if I can manage yung Ateneo women's team, help him out, run it. So I asked him, how do you want me to run it? Sabi niya, you run it the way you were running the LaSalle team. Sabi ko, like how? You get the coach, you get players, and then they take care of the scholarships. Sabi ko, okay, I'll help you. But sabi niya, there's one problem. Sabi ko, what's the problem? Baka magalit yung mga lasalista sa'yo. Sabi ko, bakit magagalit sa akin? This is my passion, volleyball. Whether green, whether blue, it is volleyball. So, okay. So, I started with the team. I think that was, I can't remember, Rick, what year was that?
2007, sir.
2000.
7 with Ronald Dulay.
Yes. Si Ronald Dulay ang coach noon. And then, at first, ayaw ng mga parents. Excuse me, ha? At first, ayaw ng mga parents ng mga players. Kasi I was telling them, kailangan kami magbago ng lineup. Dahil nga mahina yung team.
Yeah.
Kasi most of the players galing sa PE. Kumbaga sa I was telling the parents, I'm here not to participate, but to compete. Kasi competing and participating is two different things. Eh.
Yes, yes.
So sabi ko, okay, ganito gawin natin. Pag hindi kami mag-Final Four, I will resign. Yung first year ko. Sabi ko, pag I don't make the Final Four, pero payag kayo na yung mga tatanggalin ko, tanggalin natin. So they agreed. The first year, luckily, we made the Final Four.
We made the Final Four.
We were fourth.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, wala na silang masabi. And then, the following year, doon na nag-umpisa yung Fab 5. Yan na yung kinuha namin ng Fab 5. Sila Eliza Valdez. Wala pa si Eliza Valdez. Si Gretcheno.
Si Hervasio.
Si Z. Hervasio. Si
Kainglet.
Phil Kainglet. Si Jem Ferrer.
Nakachi.
And si the one from Batangas, si Nakachi.
Yes. Gretcheno.
Okay. So, yeah, sila yung Fab 5. And then si Roger Gorayan na ang naging coach. I borrowed him from San Sebastian kasi I knew the president very well. So sabi sa akin ng San Sebastian presidente, sige 5 years. 5 years bibigay ko sa iyo yan. So we started, maganda ang nangyari, doon sa last 2 years ni Roger, we played finals, Lasal. Diba, Rick? You remember that, diba? We played the last 2 years of Roger, finals sa Lasal. So it was Ateneo Lasal. From those 2 years, hanggang pumasok si Coach Tai, 6 straight years, Lasal Ateneo finals. Women. And I remember yung first finals ng Lasal Ateneo, nung si Roger ang coach, it was a record-breaking sa MOA. Ang nanood yata parang 21,000.
To more than
20,
22, something like that.
Yeah, parang ganun kadaming tao nanood ng volleyball. Because I think it was an Ateneo Lasal game, no? So, yan ang naging And then, going to your question, whether green, whether blue. Actually, it's the passion. Whether green, whether blue. Sabi nga nila, madami nga nagsasabi, especially yung mga alumni ng Lasal. Swerte, pinakaswerte daw dyan si Tony Boy Liao. Kasi kahit daw sinong manalo, panalo siya.
Oo nga.
Tony, I will ask you off the record na lang, Ateneo Lasal. Off the record na lang, para di ka matipit. No, I will ask you the question na I'll get your answer off the record, whether it's Ateneo or Lasal, para hindi ka maipit.
I-text ko.
No, but
actually, it's actually passion for volleyball.
Actually,
well, like right now, Henry, I don't know if you know. Okay, after we got out of Ateneo, I don't know if you know. Kami ni Coach Tai, we went to Adamson.
Oh,
We're helping Adamson.
That's
Yung manager ng Adamson, yung may-ari ng Akari, si Chris Q,
okay.
talked with me. He approached si Mosi Ravena and then was asking Mosi Ravena how to get si Coach Tai. So sabi ni Mosi Ravena, the person that you have to talk to is Tony Boy Liao because si Tony Boy was the one who brought in Coach Tai to the Philippines.
Yeah.
So pumayag kami. So now we're helping Adamson, but unfortunately, natigil yung UAAP last season eh. We started last season with Adamson Women's.
So, lamang na yung blue. Dalawa na eh. Ateneo and Adamson, pareho blue eh. They had on
Ang
na
NU,
NU
for
pa.
another information, NU was also getting us.
Wow. What's the color of NU? Not
Blue.
green. Blue. Oh my God.
Kaya ngayon I'm wearing blue.
Oh,
Siguro lang, Sir Tony, if I may add on your behalf, no, for the benefit of Sir Henry and others listening. I work closely with Mr. Liao and Mr. Palu. Although I was just a writer, tumutulong ako, nagdadala ng mga saging at kung ano sa team. Si Mr. Liao, at no point did he say that, kinahiya niya yung Lasal. He was very proud of where he came from. And in fact, I remember the first time nung mag-champion yung Ateneo sa UAP Volleyball. And I said, Sir Tony, are you going to the bonfire? And he said, Rick, no, I'm not there kasi I'm from Lasal. But you're the team manager. Sabi niya, I'm representing Ateneo also on the court and all that. And that's for you guys na. I'm okay. And I have all. So that you know that I think at every single time that Mr. Liao was on the court, he knew where he was and he represented both schools very, how do you say this, in an excellent and exemplary manner, no? Yun lang masasabi ko kay Mr. Liao. No? Thank you, sir.
And also, Henry,
yes.
right, the game, di ba, Ateneo Lasal, meron
Yeah.
yung alma mater hymn
Yeah.
ng Lasal.
Yeah.
I raised my
Okay.
hand singing the alma mater song.
Yes.
There was actually one time yung director noong ng Sports and Action.
Yeah.
Kinunan pa nga ako raising my hand.
Actually, I was tickling you with that question. Nothing serious about that. But wait for the last one. Another light question before Rick Olivares steps out. You'll be shocked by that question. I want it to be light eh. We've been talking about serious matters. We'll make it light.
We love light questions.
You'll be shocked. You want the light question now?
Go! Bigyan na. Friday, 2 o'clock ang klasiko eh.
Okay. This is the hardest question you have to answer. There's no if in between. For you, who is the most beautiful women's volleyball of all time? Beautiful, not
Patay tayo dito.
I'm not
Ginawa showbiz.
Ano yan? Sa Pilipinas ba yan? Pilipinas yan?
Akala ko naman, tatanungin mo, parang sino yung LeBron James ng volleyball eh. Yung pala, pinakamaganda.
You know why? I went to watching women's volleyball because of one thing. Brian knows that. I said, wow, they really can play. And if they can't play, I'm sure I will enjoy it. And you know why? So for me, who is nothing about the magaling o hindi, most beautiful women's volleyball of all time. You don't even have to tell the school.
Actually, for me, if you will ask me, actually, I know the parents. I know the parents, yung mami niya, naging model ni Pitoy Moreno. Sa tingin ko, kasi naging Miss Philippines si Michelle Gumabaw.
Oh, Animo Lasal.
Hindi naman mananalong Miss Philippines yun kung di maganda
Oo nga naman.
Di ba?
That's a news, Rick. Rick, that's news.
No, it's not. It's not news. It's a fact.
Oh.
Yeah.
Panalo siya di ba? Tsaka Michelle Gumabaw yan.
You have not revealed it to the public. It's only now. So it makes a good story out of that. No,
and then the mother, si Loli Imperial, model ni Pitoy Moreno.
Oh, di ba?
Tapos yung kanyang tatay, artista, si Dennis Soldan.
Alam mo, dahil si Tony, dahil sa mga light questions ni Sir Henry, parang ayoko magturo ngayong hapon eh.
Kaya masaya ako. At least meron Lasal na mention siya. No, just kidding. Okay, this is the last already, no? For you, no, through the years, because women's volleyball was your passion. Oh, well, volleyball, no? For you, who was the best in terms of achievements and also character women's volleyball player in at least in UAP history, no? I'm adding talent and character for you. I mean, that's very subjective, no? But you can also decline to comment. It's really up to you.
For me until now, it's Eliza Valdez.
Oh, okay.
From the first time I met her until itong recently, hindi nagbabago ugali.
Hindi talaga.
Hindi lumaki yung ulo. Talagang magaling.
Makatao pa.
Yeah. And you will see, diba, the awards that she was able to get from the UAP. Ilang beses siya nag-MVP. I think 3 seasons nag-MVP. Tapos MVP ng finals. Tapos yung mga special awards. Tapos sa PSA, naging Miss Volleyball pa siya ng Philippines. I think talagang, for me, personally, siya yung, so far for me, siya pinakamagaling.
Buti na lang you agree with Kiefer.
With Kiefer.
You agree with him pala.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir Henry, I'm going to miss your light questions. Unfortunately, I have to leave. Sir Tony, mabuhay kayo and please
Nice seeing you. Nice seeing you, Rick.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you so much. Thanks, bro. Sir Tony, pwede na ako magtanong kung may light questions pa kayo. Sir Henry pala. Sir Tony, this is just something I wanted to ask because we've been interviewing a couple of players the past couple of weeks, and a concern they have is their shape in case the league does start, which wala pa nga tayong date, di ba? Kumbaga, would you agree with most of them saying that they need at least 2 to 3 months to prepare to be back in competitive form?
Yeah, I agree with that. Kasi siyempre, unang-una, ayaw namin na magkaroon ng injuries eh.
Mm-hmm.
Siyempre, pag hindi ka talaga ensayado ng maayos, lalo na ngayon, ang ensayo, limahan. Hindi kayo especially now, a lot of player transfers. May team na bago, mga players transfers, hindi pa kayo nagkakaamuyan ng laro eh. Kaya talaga, maybe another 2 months na extension bago mag-umpisa, that would be good.
So I'm assuming this would be a factor in determining when the PBL will open?
Yeah. Dahil nga, di ba, ngayon, ang plano namin is end of May.
Alright.
Okay. But, as you know, yung GAB, hindi pa siya, at ang ATF, hindi pa niya sinasabi, sige, magbubble na kayo. We're just awaiting for that one. So, it will still really depend on when will GAB really say and give the go signal.
Okay. So, temporarily, it's just somewhere in May, but it's subject to move.
Posible
Alright.
yun.
Alright. Sir Henry?
Medyo wala na, no?
Wala na?
Wala na. Tapos
Naubusan na.
Naubusan ng bala. Nawala na rin si Dick Olivares eh. I'm just kidding. I wish you well, no, Tony Boy. I wish you well.
Thank you very much, Henry.
Especially, I know your passion. More than, I think, your passion talaga volleyball. If I know you well, at least I know you a little bit. Not basketball, no, really. I remember kasi when we started, 1981, remember? You started the inter-club basketball tournament, remember? 1981.
Yeah.
Interbank.
Yeah,
that's right. That was 1981.
I called you up. You up to me, and then you mentioned si Sim Soto.
Yes. Then I got I got to play plaque for that, and up to now I'm still very grateful, no. So that was a long time, 40 years ago, 1981.
Yeah, yung Bankers Athletic Association.
That's right. So when you shifted to volleyball, sabi ko, ito. It's just like ako, medyo a little sad. Bakit napunta from Lasal to Ateneo? Pero I was just kidding, no, when I was asking that question because I know where your artist. I don't think it's It's not a color. I think it's a sport, no, volleyball.
It's the sport, yes.
Thank you very much. I think that's
Okay.
midnight, night time na, no?
Yes, sir. And
Yeah.
before we let Sir Tony go, sir, meron nagbati lang dito for you. Julian Lapid, Boss Tony, Ally, I think it's Eliza, is very down to earth. Welcome back.
Yeah, si Junior Lapid is the son of my good friend, Sir Robert Lapid. They stay also in our place.
I see. All right. Sir, before we let you go, we'd like to give you the floor for your final statements and maybe if you want to greet anybody or promote anything.
Okay. Thank you once again for giving me this time to explain, no, yung mga plano ng PNVF at yung sa PBL. Hopefully, yung mga volleyballista can follow the PBL once we open. Ngayon na we have 12 professional teams. For sure, it will be, sabi nga nila, the best league. Kasi kami na lang ang liga eh. So, wala nang ibang liga, no? So, nandiyan na lahat, no? Kung sino man ina-idolize mo, nandiyan na yan. So, wala nang bashing. So, talagang follow your team. And at the same time, yung PNBF, yung mga national teams na fino-form, sana sundan nyo, supportahan natin para at least pagdating ng events, tournaments sa sasalihan, maganda ang maging mga performance, whether beach or beach volleyball. Thank you very much.
All right. And on that note, thank you, Sir Tony, for spending the time kahit na we know that there's a time difference, medyo gabi dyan. Yun, on behalf of Sir Henry Liao and all our viewers, thank you for watching us and catch us on our next episode. Good afternoon, everybody from here, and good night kung kila Sir Tony.
Thank you, Henry, Brian.
Thank you po, sir.